Damn, it feels good to be back. You know what I'm saying? It's Tuesday, baby. It's my favorite day. It's pod day. Welcome back to another episode of More Than the Title. I'm your host, as usual, Jarrett, Chief Revenue Officer at Outside the Box Digital. And you know I got my brother, my brethren, your favorite CEO, Chadeo. What's good, baby?
Yo, I got a suntan. That DC sun was hot as a motherfucker.
It was crazy out there. Hot, and we was out there waiting for the sun for 4 hours. We'll tell y'all about that later, man. Every time we do something, it's a fucking journey and an adventure.
Nigga, movie.
Every time, man.
But you know how we like to start the show, man. G&T, man. Once again, we had a successful journey down to DC, the Maryland area, DMV area, where we went down there to attend podcast movement. And G&T, man, grateful for the opportunity to be a part of the movement, to be with like-minded individuals, right, that we connected with and made some new friends. And we had a great time, and thankful again for the people that helped make it happen and for the fans and the supporters of the show, man. Once again, G&T, without y'all, this shit ain't possible, man.
Yes,
G&T,
man.
baby.
Shout out to everybody we met out there. Shout out to the new friends, the old friends, man. Shout out to my boy EA. Shout out to Loyalty. Shout out to Paula. Shout out to the entire team, man. Like, we love y'all. Nothing but love, man. Nothing but love when we link up always, man. Shout out to Lib of Afros and Audios. Everybody, man. It was a great environment. It was a great vibe. Also, before we begin, this episode is also sponsored by MSC Sneaker World. If you want jeans, sneakers, fitteds, MSC Sneaker World is the only place to get it. Stop playing games with it. You got to contact Candace or Slim and tell them More Than the Title at the door. They're going to make sure they take care of y'all. So remember again, MSC Sneaker World, New Rochelle, 57 Church Street. We out there, you know what I mean? Support Black-owned businesses. You did?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, wait. Lola said I'm here, but I don't see me. Wait, hold on. Where you at, Lola?
Yeah, I just told her she's not in the green room, so we gotta.
I just sent you the link.
Where,
you got the link.
Where in the world is Lola?
Sis, you know we're gonna have a good time. Sis, we about to rock with you.
Where in the world is Lola?
Just check your email. I literally sent it 15 minutes ago, so it'll be on top of your drink. Just click the StreamYard link.
Well, technically, she's texting inside the private chat, or she's in the comments.
She's in the comments. So she's on LinkedIn.
She might be on you. She might be on LinkedIn. Yeah, she's in LinkedIn. She on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So you gotta click the StreamYard link, sis, and then come in.
Come on, Lola. Find your way home, baby.
While we wait for Lola, let's real quick. You already know, shout out to our distribution partners as well. You know, already know the Live Podcast Network, the first woman-owned, Black-owned podcast network, and also the biggest Black-owned network in the world. We are we on top of that list, y'all. We on it, rocking with them. Shout out to the Angel and the entire team. You want more content from Black content creators? Make sure y'all download the app and support, man. Angel was doing it too. She was just at the Democratic conference, the conference joint out there, man. She's doing it big.
Man. Yeah. Shout out to the boss lady, man. Definitely. Let me tell y'all something, man. Like, we laugh and joke about this shit, but we dead serious, right? Like, when we tell you, like, our owner is a female, and we are fucking proud to follow her and rock with her because she gets to it. Right? I told y'all, the dream is free. The dream, that shit is, everybody could dream. You dream every night. Everybody could dream, but the motherfucking hustle sold separately. And that's a person that gets to it every day, all day. Don't make excuses. It's not sitting around waiting for nobody to do. Ain't nobody gonna rescue you. You got to do it yourself. So we have no problem following a lead like that. Now, you other motherfuckers, we ain't following that.
That's it, yo. Shit, that was a big message. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, we ain't following that.
While we wait for Lola, you know what I mean?
Let's start the show.
Let's get this thing popping, man. Talk of the weekend. What's the talk of the weekend, bro? What's on the feeds? What's covering my feeds? It's all over. I can't fucking escape this thing.
InvestFest.
And shout out to InvestFest, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. Shout out to Rashad and Troy and the entire Earn Your Leisure team, man. Yeah. From the pictures I've seen and the feedback I've seen online, man, that shit looks crazy, man. Just shout out to them brothers for doing something positive, man. To pull that off logistically and to be able to have that same and increase, improve the experience year after year after year. This is year 4. To get somebody like 50 Cent on there, the headline with a Steve Harvey, with billionaires, like it's love, man. So that's something that's needed for the culture. We ain't going to hate on that, and you can't hate on that. We're going to show love, and we're going to say that's what's up. And next year, we're going to be out there. You know the vibes.
I mean, just to piggyback, I think once we just talked about following a lead, right? See, most people in the world are followers, but you can still be a leader and follow another leader, right? But see, you got to have something for us to follow. See, InvestFest is a phenomenal blueprint, and we can follow something like that. So we can get behind something like that when somebody's doing something positive, not only for the community, but for the culture, for the culture, right? Yeah. Oh, we can follow that. So, shout out to them, for constantly doing what it takes to be able to even pull off something like this and continually to upgrade the experience, making it transformative.
That's it, man. Because they could easily be taking a check and not caring about the experience. Yep. You could tell by what went into it that they care about this shit. Yep. They are passionate about it, right? And they're at all the events. Like if you're not a content creator and you don't really know what goes into it, we know what goes on at our level. So I can only imagine the day-to-day responsibilities of running their company, running their business, running their funnel, making sure they have the community right, and then logistically, and then still keeping the relationships intact. Because when you're at that level, the asks are different, right? The relationships are different. How we chill is different. And just, how they've done it, man, has been, I always say it all the time. There's messages in the movements and how them brothers is moving is impeccable. So shout out to them, man. Love and respect, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it is.
I just want to piggyback that and say, not only have they created a movement, but we talking about G&T. I'm so grateful to the people that show up to support their movement. You understand? That's equally important, right? You can put anything on, right? You can set something up and nobody show up to support you. So what's equally important is the fact that Steve Harvey showed up, 50 Cent, a lot of, like you said, millionaires and billionaires that not only show up, but constantly show up, right? And they're interactive and they giving you valuable insight and valuable information, not fluff bullshit, right? They constantly show up to support these guys. That's the major key right there. They're showing them that, this is what we need for the community, and we got leaders of the community that's going to support this.
Message. Win-win. I can't wait to see what they do with it from a business perspective.
Right.
I can't wait to see what they do from, the next 4 to 5 years. What does that look like, right? At this level, at that ceiling, that can't be the ceiling, right? I see them even potentially being a major network. Why couldn't EYL be a potential BET or something like that if you have the resource, the network, the content capabilities, and the infrastructure? Like, I just want to see, I like to see shit like that, man. But we on pace with that, man. We're going to get it rocking. But I do like to see how other brothers are succeeding with their business and what kind of strategy. You know what I'm saying?
If they wanted to, let's not even talk about a major network. If they wanted to be a network in general, they have the resources to do it now. Remember, BET didn't start where it ended, right? Revolta, all these places didn't start where they ended, right? They started out small networks and built their way up. So they have the resources now to create a network. The question is just, do they want that for themselves? Is that what they see as their progression in the future? That's all that is. But they could easily do that now and build on it. So I would love to see that also. Why not?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If you was in the InvestFest, you in the comments, let us know what it was, you know what I'm saying? Also, shout out to our brother, man. Shout out to my guy, Shans.
Shout out to Dave, man.
Shout out to Dave Shans, man. If you haven't checked out the episode, make sure you check out the episode More Than Entitled with David Shans, CEO, founder of Social Proof. Shout out to Donnie Wiggins, the entire Social Proof team. Like, we ran into him in podcast movement. It was funny. We went, shout out to Dr. Horn. We sitting there having a good time. We have
Teresa.
You know what I'm saying? Dr. Horn. We out there rocking. We first time meeting her. She pulled up on us, came
I got her name right this time.
He was Lena. He was bugging out. I'm going to Lena. I'm like, yo, bro, this is not how we treat our guests.
That's your fault, bro. That's your fault. Ladies and gentlemen, real quick, to give you some background, this motherfucker was supplying Hindus from morning till night. So in my defense, I was inebriated. I didn't know.
got the Hindus on deck.
You see? Thank you very much for not negating that, ladies and gentlemen. So, I know not what I did if.
And Shandy, what up? Yo, it was a good time. But long story short, we was rocking out. We sitting there getting some drinks. We actually talking about Shans. He like, yo, we gotta sit there. Yo, we gotta find my bro. He's in here somewhere. He walks up the block as we're talking about him, and we just chop it up. And I'm just gonna say, for somebody who's at that level of what he's done and what he's been able to achieve with this content game and the level of inspiration, like, that brother's one of the most genuine, realest dudes that, we've encountered, and I rock with him. I just want to say shout out to him, man, because he's the type of brother that's going to stop for everybody, talk to everybody, give you game on the humble, and he going to rock, like, you know what I'm saying? And he don't have to.
Did you see the post that he put up on his Instagram?
The one today, right?
Yeah, see, he was saying like he didn't, people were saying like he didn't get a chance to meet everybody and link up with everybody. And he was saying, listen, I tried my best to meet all the vendors and meet up and take pictures with as many people as possible. Please don't ever think that like I take this shit for granted. And you know what I mean? Like it takes a special person to acknowledge that. You don't realize when you get to a certain level of celebrity, let's just call it celebrity, what type of influence you have on other people with your day-to-day actions.
Facts.
When people want to take pictures with you and shoot a video with you, that's because they're so excited that they got a chance to meet you. They're telling you like you're their hero, you're somebody they look up to, that they admire, that they want to capture this moment. I don't think it's really nothing more, like respectable or like, what I'm saying, genuine than that, man. I think that's just like a dope feeling when somebody comes up to you and they're like, hey man, can we take a picture? Or can we do a video or something together? You know what I mean?
Context be everything. Sometimes life be life, and motherfucker don't want to. Not all the time, you know what I mean? You might be taking 99 times, and always that one.
I understand, but remember, it's the same people that you might shun that help put you there. So it's a very delicate balance.
That's a
very delicate balance, right?
Shout out to we got our girl Lola in the building. Lola, what up, baby? Can you hear us? Can you hear us? I don't know if the audio's right. Real quick.
Okay, all right. I am so sorry.
Wait, hold up. It's going out. It's going out, sis. Now I can hear you. Does it seem like it's freezing on your end?
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
so what's happening, Lola, is I don't know if
see you.
I don't know if you remember the old Chinese flicks. What's going on right now is you're like, can you hear me?
It's doing the freezing. It's doing the freezing.
Between the audio and your lips moving, there's a little bit of a time delay.
And like it's still not working. Okay.
It should be good. Let us know if you got it. But it seemed like it's just a slight delay.
Let's see. How's it working now?
That sounded good.
You are the Kung Fu master.
Hello.
Shit. I love it.
Oh my gosh.
It's all good, sis. We know you driving, man. We appreciate you coming
through.
How
on here, I'm messing with the resolution. Did that help at all?
Nah.
It's not even the resolution. It's the Wi-Fi. I think the connection. Like you look good. Everything look good. It's just you know what I mean?
Okay.
It's the lag time.
You cannot hear me properly. Oh dear.
Yeah, it delays. Yeah,
okay.
Definitely doing the Enter the Dragon. Yeah, definitely doing the
Lola, you give it very much Bruce Leroy.
Oh my god.
Lola, you give it very much Bruce Leroy.
Oh my gosh.
Right now, you got the glow.
Wow, this is so much fun.
Right now, you got the glow.
Wait, we can hear it. Now we hear feedback.
Yeah. Gentlemen, what do you suggest?
I'm not sure.
Sis. Now you hear feedback. Okay.
I don't know how close you are to a stable location, but if you need some more time, get to a stable location and just come back.
Just come back, sis. It's all
Let
good.
me go ahead and. You sure? I don't want to keep you guys waiting too long.
How long you need?
The traffic has been not fun here. Hold on a second. Let me try one more thing that might work because it does say that Safari might be better for StreamYard. So let's see if we can make that work.
I bet, sis.
I'm ready to get into this conversation as much as I may not.
I got you right now. I'm gonna put you on the room for a second. While you get that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. This is why we do it live, y'all. Shout out to Lola. This is part 2. If y'all saw the first one, y'all know we about to get to the shits. You know what I'm saying? But like once we were talking about Shams before we ended off.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, just shout out to that brother, man. Definitely a delicate balance, man, of wanting to take every picture. But I can't say from seeing this brother, he's done it. He's killed everything that we've seen. He goes to every event, man. And I go for he's another brother that's an inspirational. So if you don't know about him, make sure you check out Social Proof David Shams. We're going to support the real ones over here. Everybody's putting in the real work and the real movement for the community. You feel me? That's what we on.
I'm grateful for Shans. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm just grateful for Shans because there's not too many of us like him, right? So we need, so I'm grateful at what he does. He does the coaching, right? The entrepreneurship, and he's trying to teach you like how to become a creator and how you should carry yourself. And I think that he's a great act to follow. I'm gonna stamp that and say from what I've seen over the years, ladies and gentlemen, mind you, this is not a first time encounter. At this point, we've known Shan for years now. He's come on the show. We've hung out numerous times in numerous states and things of that nature. And it's always the same. His consistency is on point. His message is always the same. His energy is always the same. Even when we met him at his own event, let's be clear. Yep. David Shands has his own podcast movement event, right? InvestFest is not his. He has his own. Even when we met him in Florida at his own event, right? When we went to his event to support him, it was the same energy, even though he's hosting an entire event.
Max.
Right? So he's, like you said, he's handling the logistics, the people, right? The community that's there, the vendors, right? The guests that are going up on the show. Remember, BET was there setting up for Trina to go live with the yep. So it was a lot it was a lot that he was dealing with, and his energy never wavers. So shout out to David Shands, man. Let's give David Shands the horns on that, man. Give him a man.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a Fendi fact.
Yeah.
And also, I do want to talk about something, and I want y'all to chime in. And when Lola comes back, we'll talk about this, right? So I was listening to a podcast the other day, right? And basically, they came up with this whole notion that, you know, they got motion and things like that. And me, I judge it differently. I think people like you and I who don't have the code stamp, that are getting it out the mud, you know, doing everything themselves, we're self-funded, all that other shit, versus somebody who has motion, right? Look at the deal that just happened in podcasting today with Travis and Jason Kelsey, $100 million deal, right. And they've probably been podcasting for less than a year, right? And I totally get it. It's audience. That's what drives the revenue dollars, the sponsorships, all of that. I get it. But when I heard this person on the podcast talk, he was talking spicy, like, you know what I mean? Like you getting motion, but you got motion from somebody else. And I want to hear your thoughts on what should be looked at in a higher light. Somebody who got on from somebody giving them the stamp of approval and the audience, or people like us that are getting it out the mud. Or does it even matter? You know what I'm saying? If you listen and chime in, tell us what you think. I'm going to give y'all my thoughts after I want to hear what Cuzzo talk.
I just think it's always a balance, bro. It's always the yin and the yang, right? You can't have a sun without the shadow, without the moon, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always the yin and the yang. You're always going to have somebody that does it one way and somebody that does it another way. I don't personally think any way is wrong. I think every person has their journey, and you just got to figure out what path is yours and just try to, you know, get in where you fit in. You know what I'm saying? Maximize your path and your journey and how you get there. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest with you, right? This is my personal opinion. In a world, right? Go to deep voice. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, be clear, right? I always say this, and I'm never gonna waver from this, right? When you are given something and you are used to being given something, your work ethic is not the same from somebody that has hustled, bled, sweat, cried, almost died for what they have earned, right? It is a big difference, right? When you are given something, then you don't understand what it took to get what you were given. So you might be able to maintain it if your circumstances are right, but if you can't, if anything happens to it, the chances of you recreating that are very minimal. Now, you take a person that has built it, that has learned it, that has went through the steps, they now have that knowledge. Not only can they recreate it for themselves, but guess what they can do? They can teach it to others. They can teach it to others. And now that wisdom becomes infinite. So you understand? Like, you know, if I have my way, I'm going to do it the way we doing it, because once we get it right, we now have the blueprint. So when we create an Invest Fest, when we create the More Than the Title Fest, then we're going to be able to offer products and services and a transformative experience that cannot be denied. You know what I'm saying? So you know what it is.
Well, Kenneth, my boy Kenneth, what up, bro? So I think we're going toward a point where the dollars need to have a certain ROI, so many deals will go to these established audiences. Absolutely. Yep. Why would you not take it's business, bro? Why would you not bet on a sure thing if they have the millions of followers in the audience and things like that? But that doesn't make the content good either. Right? So is that hurting the industry or not hurting the industry? Because if you're going to have any talking head, just say whatever, right? What is that doing for the entire industry? Yes. Is it pumping money into it? cool. But I get what I'm trying to get to with that. The person I was talking about, bro, they was on a major show. They was on a major show, left that major show, started their own joint, and then right off the rip, because of this controversy of them leaving that show, automatically had 20, 30,000 subscribers. So anybody that knows and actually on the YouTube grind, do y'all know how hard it is to get 20, 30,000 subs? You know what I'm saying? The amount of effort and legwork you have to put into thumbnails and all that other shit. So I just say, like, you know, it's like, I feel like me, man. I feel like it's like the Alex Rodriguez, Mark McGuire shit. You know what I'm saying? Are they playing baseball? Yeah. But they on roids? Yeah. And they getting the accolades? Yeah. But when you're going to look back and be like, damn, that motherfucker who didn't take it and actually played the ball right way, actually, you know, was more valuable to the team or did it the right way. I think there's more credence in that for me personally.
I just want to chime in on one thing you said.
Good, bro.
I just want to say that content is subjective. I want to say everything. I want to say content is subjective, just like music, just like art. Absolutely. I love that piece that you got on the wall. By the way, that is a beautiful piece. You understand what I'm saying? We're gonna move it down a little bit so that you know next time we can see the whole joint. But that is a beautiful art piece you got on the wall. But look, I like that. Perfect. There it is. But guess what? Look, I like it. Right. Yeah. Somebody else might look at it and not see the value in it. Right. So it is subjective, right? Art, music, and these, you know, content is subjective. Again, the yin and the yang, I believe we need that type of content. That way we can differentiate our content from it. We need that kind of art because that way our art differentiates from the other art that's out there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, people want to be entertained, bro. And people got different flavors and personalities and, you know, so give the people what they want, man. If they entertained and they love that, hey, man, go, you know, by all means, man, go get what you want.
Yeah, and I agree with Dot saying. I think the customers don't really care. I think only content creators care about how you got there. Hell the fuck yeah. If you put in the work, yes, it does matter. But what Kenneth said is real too. Ronaldo just launched day one with 1 million subscribers.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah. Okay, but look, I disagree, Hayes. I disagree. The customers do care, and I'm gonna tell you why. You know why they care? Because if you're putting out content and you're building a fan base, a core fan base, then the fan base is locking into you. Earn Your Leisure did not start where they are right now. They started with just cell phones and they built up. You understand that the reason that they can pack 20,000 people right now is because the customers care. They watch their journey. They feel like they're a part of their community. They believe in what they're saying enough to buy $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 ticket to go to Atlanta and pack it with 20,000 people. So Hayes, I think the customers absolutely care. It's what core fan base is based on.
But that's the perfect example.
Yeah.
They didn't get the cosign. They didn't get the stamp of approval from somebody. That's why their community is so strong. Like, you nailed it, bro. So that's what I'm saying. So yes, the customers do care, bro, but it does matter, bro. If you see how we're going right now, if there's 300, right? Let's say there's 100 people on this live right now, right? By the time we get to 1,000, these 100 people are going to look at it differently. They're going to say, okay, oh, damn. I remember when Jarrett didn't have that pain. I remember when Chad didn't have a joint. I remember when they wasn't doing it in person. I remember when they weren't doing that. And you can see the growth. I think you seeing the growth and seeing the progression of the content makes it that much more valuable is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
No, I'm with you. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying they absolutely care. I'm with you 110%. That's how you build it. Look at rap. Let's use rap as an example, right? When you're coming up in the neighborhood, let's not even look at rap. Let's look at music in general. What makes a song so popular, right? When people resonate with the song, when it sounds like the artist is talking directly to them with their message, or they can directly relate to the message because they went through the same exact thing. It's the same thing. You understand what I'm saying?
Once again, that only benefits the content creators, ticket sales. The customers are watching from YouTube but not worried about ticket sales. I think they do, bro. We all do. We all care about business. We want to know if you're winning or not.
Right.
I think people are pocket watch. I think people are doing all it. Customers do all of that, bro.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's like somebody like if you're selling success, right? You're selling, hey, I'm the best entrepreneur. I want to see success.
There it is.
So it does matter.
Yep.
It does matter how you got there. Why am I going to follow you if you're talking some bullshit or you haven't shown me an example or even a path to get to where you get? I just
you get the screaming baby for that.
Come on, man. Because when I was listening to that content creator, I'm like, yo, bro, yes, I get it. But you had ample amount of time to create your own podcast before you went on that other big podcast to get the notoriety and visibility. If you were already in the industry, why didn't you do that? You only seen it when you seen the love and how the love changed, right? You going outside, it's a different what's up. People are asking you for pictures now. It's a different notoriety than you being just in the industry, bro. So you having to grind and get your own motion, bro. We got 1,200 subs. I cherish every single one of them subs. And we did it the hard way, bro. I remember it was like 300 subs. It was hard to get fucking 20 subs. I'm seeing it on Instagram. Please sub, please sub. We know more than 1,000 motherfuckers in real life.
Damn! That's a fact.
Come on, man.
Look, individually, I know 1,000 motherfuckers that you don't know, and you know 1,000 motherfuckers that I don't know. So we know more than 1,000 motherfuckers individually.
I got 1,200 subs, and I might know 50 of them names. Come on, Hayes being one, Ken being one, Shandy being another. You feel me? Those being the others, man.
Oh, Lola, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
There she go. Hold up, we get the horn, baby. Hold on.
We won't even bore everyone with the moment of where we are.
No, you're gonna get the proper intro you deserve, sis. We gotta give you one.
There she go.
And I'm loving the vibe that's happening here. Oh my goodness.
I love that shirt. I ain't gonna lie. I like colors, baby. I like you vibrant.
What I learned today was the glam should come to you. Don't go to the glam because you may not make it back to your studio in time. So that's a lesson we'll learn for next time.
Don't be doing that off the rip, Lola.
See, Lola, you starting off the
Dunkin'
right way.
Donuts have let me turn this into my little studio.
Listen, you're doing it the right way, and I'm gonna tell you this.
You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
I lost everyone else's curiosity.
Nah, listen, they ready.
They ready to go. We're gonna give you the proper intro.
Hey, the two of you are the stars. I'm just here to provide a little color.
Nah, sis. This is our show.
We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
Show. You're gonna make me blush and shit. I don't want to do that.
Nah, we the stars. We the stars, and we appreciate you for coming. I want to say thank you for allowing us, the opportunity to come on the show again. We appreciate it. Your story's important. This is what we're talking about. Your story's important, and we need to keep telling it, right? Keep telling it and keep showing it, right? So no, we are the stars because we're doing it for our community, right? It's no iron team here, right? There we go.
Team. And you saw my post today. I think what resonates with me most about the way that you guys do this show is it's about unblocking the gates, right? Like, we know about the gates, we talk about the gates, but very rarely do we get actionable advice to break through them. And that's always what we've done when I get to spend time with you all here. And I'm excited to open up some more of the, the things that I learned the hard way in the last couple of years, trying to get more and more into my voice as a quote unquote, I call it thought partner, not thought leader, because I partner, I don't lead. Sounds that's not actually even true.
That's not true.
You lead it too. You lead like a mom.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna let you say it, but I
put that on a t-shirt. Partnership is leadership.
That That sound like a good
partnership is leadership. might have that to you by Friday.
Well, that's a damn good segue though. That's a damn good. Let's talk about
let's give it an introduction.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to get to the content.
I'm ready for my Cup Shay moment.
Okay, here we go.
This queen is an Anthem award-winning inclusive marketing strategist, creator of Maximize the Movement, which she's also trademarked, founder of BE Code, which is a boutique marketing consultancy. She is a 2022 LinkedIn top voice in marketing and advertising and a regular at industry events, including Cannes Lions International Festival Creativity, and will also be at Black Week this coming October and speaking on the stage. Let's give it up for our sister, the Queen Lola Bakare, y'all.
Thank you so much. Jarrett, thank you so much.
Come on, man. Lola, you the truth. I ain't gonna lie to you.
In the words of the May song, welcome back. We
needed that.
Welcome back. I should have brought that on. I'm slipping. I should have had that sound bite.
Oh man, I wish I had some Pinot Grigio here at this Dunkin' Donuts.
They better spike it.
I'm just saying.
They better spike it. We got a hen then do. The Simply's better cut a check. I'm gonna get them to send you some. I'm gonna get them to send you. First of all, you're the first person that had me drinking on the show. Me and you was the first. We was the first drink champs. Me and you.
I want that on my files.
No, that's a great thing. Shit. Now we about to get sponsorships. We lit.
All right. But when Kamala's vetting me for my cabinet position, we'll leave that part out.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely leave that part. But we keep it real here because you
just kidding. She probably think it was pretty cool, actually.
It was the real, sis. But one thing I loved about our episode the first time was the realness, and we're gonna keep it with that same energy, 100%. Sis. We were just talking about everything from, like you said, gatekeeping, what we've had to overcome. Like from you, sis, and you were one of those people who speak loud and proud about it on LinkedIn, right? So I would love to know, like, what are some of the benefits of you speaking loud and proud on LinkedIn about things that benefit us and affect us? And what has been the consequence of that? Have you seen any consequences?
Let's start with consequences because I'm an optimist. So I often don't see them. You know what I mean? I think if I'm living in my mission, if I'm living in my truth, like the consequence, even if it's negative, is actually a gift. Now, my brother, he may or may not be watching this, is a corporate attorney. So when we have these discussions, he says, that sounds nice, but are you sure people aren't just telling you what you want to hear? And so I think there's two sides of that coin, right? Not everybody wants to hear the truth. Not everybody feels sort of uplifted. Some people feel a little bit triggered when they're questioned. And I do. I don't struggle with that necessarily, but I try to keep a balance of, if I'm going to question something, it's not a person, it's a system that a person is involved in. Because I don't.
That was a bar. The person, not the system.
It's the system, not the person. And I'm a part of the system too. So there's no critique that I'm ever going to critique that I'm not also critiquing myself. You know, and when you think of it that way, it's less about calling people out, and it's more about raising conversations that are going to actually move us forward. And it's more about getting us past this sort of over politeness. I would call it, quite honestly, it's happening rampantly on LinkedIn right now. I think toxic positivity, where we can't talk anything unless we're cheering for each other.
Yeah, you're doing great, and it's not great. It's not peaches. Shit is real out here.
Great when it's time to cheer, but sometimes it's also time to talk about, well, what did it take to get to that cheer, and how hard was that?
That's a fact. But let's also keep it all the way real. Let's talk about, since our last conversation, how DEI has slid backwards. And me and you was talking about that the first time. We had our brother Jason Rosario on. He's the Chief Diversity Officer of BBDO. Yeah, shout out to the brother. But we also talk about what is the ROI of diversity. And I think right now, what we're seeing now that the economy is on a downslide, that it's kind of like it's a one thing, but not really a need thing. But it's been proven the fact that we actually create more ROI by being diverse, but we're not getting the positions, we're not getting the roles, and we're not getting the looks.
That was the perfectly timed just emotion of smoke that came out from Chadeo right there, because
that was real, the greatest timing.
One of the biggest downfalls of this entire conversation is that we allow it to become so oversimplified that there's never going to be a good answer. Just let's reframe it another way. Is sociology good for corporations? Is research and development effective? Is innovation something that can make a company more money? The answer is always, it depends if it's done right. But why, when it comes to talking about DEI and what I call responsible marketing, which is the opportunistic looking for synergies where you can create social impact and commercial impact that are bigger than they would have been without being the sum of their parts, right? When you're looking for those opportunities, why is the immediate thing that we sort of go to is fear and risk, and what if it doesn't? If it doesn't is the question in any company, Fortune 500 or small business. And every day you wake up and you try to answer the question and you fail, and sometimes you succeed, but whether or not you fail, that doesn't sort of, take away the entire validity of a discipline like diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yeah. And the fact that we're even letting that narrative be something that's discussed, I find it, and I understand I'm not in one of those roles where I have to, in the boardroom, play both sides. And I empathize. In fact,
with those people, yeah,
a lot more empathy for people in those roles. First of all, I never want a Black person to leave a job because they aren't morally aligned with everything going on in that company. we shouldn't be the ones that have to lose money because the morals aren't right. Right?
Message.
Oh my God. Okay, my fault. I couldn't get to the horn or the I shot at whichever one was closest.
No, I don't believe that every Black person working in a DEI role where things aren't quite going as they should leave in protest. That's actually the most ridiculous thing that could happen, right? But what we do have to do is try and support them in our roles. Maybe in I won't call myself an outsider, but I'll call myself a side-sider in this moment. Mm-hmm. One day I might go back in. One day I might go on top. You might call it the Galloway, the Vaynerchuk, the Shelley Zalis, the, and let me, Kerry Washington, beautiful work last night. I mean, you just see the brilliance of what she brings to the table beyond acting. When you get to the top, then you can just kind of say whatever the heck you want. I'm in a place where I'm on the side, and I'm trying to advocate for both the people who are doing the jobs that they need to stay in, but also inspire their bosses to start thinking about their jobs differently. And the first thing that they need to think about is what is the metric of success?
There you go.
And it has to be specific, and it's different in every single department. So even the question of is DEI something that's profitable, it's the wrong question.
So you're going on. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to get the
I thought she was going to keep going. My thing is, the only thing I'm going to chime in is say we just have to always understand that we are not playing a game that is designed for us to win. We are not playing a game that is designed for us to win. We are playing a game that by default is designed for us to lose. So when you have these corporations say something that we would consider to be like, are you just dumb or deaf and dumb? That's why, because they're not viewing us in a caliber of we're supposed to be winning. That's why they're questioning, why do we need this and why do we need that? Because they're saying to themselves, well, they're not supposed to win anyway. So if you look at what's going on,
and if you're really real about that statement, it couldn't be more true, because the way this was built on was on us not getting paid for.
Thank you. So if you look at
effective strategy.
So if you look at what's going on in the world, especially like in places like Florida with the governor doing these things like taking textbooks out of school and taking educational material out of school. And again, to us, we're like, are you dumb? No, they're not dumb. They're doing it strategically because they're going to fight. Now, it's not even hidden anymore. They're blatantly saying we're going to do everything in our power to strip you guys and really like turn us back into legal slaves. That's what they're doing. They want us poor, they want us dumb, and they want us to be attached and a victim to the system. That way they can control us.
And incarcerated. Yeah, that's exactly. All of these things. I mean, what you just brought up, let's take it back to LinkedIn. It was a year or two ago. I try to post about my own brand of patriotism, is what I'll call it. And now it's actually becoming a big discussion. I'm not going to say I scooped the Harry strategy, but if you look back, I have kind of been talking about reclaiming patriotism for a while. And when we think about what the founding fathers intended and what they have the capacity to really believe, those are two different things. We're still trying to live up to the ideals that were on paper but never really existed. So I bring this back to a point. Let's look at something like, an assembly line. The early days of Ford. That wasn't set up for the workers to win.
Yeah.
Not much is set up for the workers to win. And so the question is, how do we as the workers set ourselves up to win in the long term?
Message.
Ooh.
And that's not an original. If we talk to John Graham, who I know you all know, that's
brother Graham. That's my brother. He came in talking that talk.
Sometimes to my chagrin, because I'm like, John, okay, fine, but if I want to buy my latte, like, what do you want me to buy it with? I got to be engaged with somebody. You know what I mean? There is no clean money.
It isn't. But what you said, going back, I think you made a great point about how do we give the power back to the workers, right? The problem is, let's just take our culture, right? Too much individualism. Everybody's trying to get ahead. We all got to eat. We all got to eat, sis. So it's a very delicate balance. We've spoken to enough people, especially Black talent in this room, that we'd be like, that are in those rooms that are like, God damn, what would I do just to have one other person like that? And then when I do get that other person, why the fuck are we competing? Why are we competing with each other? Why are you looking at me funny? And why are we trying to backdoor each other? No, we've heard it way too. Cuz how many times have we heard it?
And we've heard it a lot, but here's why I still have a lot of empathy for it.
Okay.
We've been traumatized, and I'm speaking as someone who, you know, that trauma is borrowed. You know, I'm a first generation Black American. You know, I have a lot of reverence in the struggles that my ancestors didn't experience, but I still feel almost like I experienced them tangentially. It's not the same thing, but I have a lot of reverence for the trauma that those hundreds of years of not being valued can create. And fear is a huge manifestation of that, right? So like, it's almost like, yes, we need to heal, but we also can't fault ourselves for being hurt.
That was a bar.
Message.
Damn, that tangentially was a new word. I'm about to use that shit in a sentence. I can't wait to use that shit in a sentence.
I think sometimes we share the same brain, because I promise you I was gonna be like, new word alert. How many syllables is that motherfucker? Like tangentially.
I'm like,
saying that shit 4 times fast on 3 Hindindus. You're gonna fuck it up.
Tangentially. That's an adjective and a verb.
I'm into tangents because they take us where we need to be. They tell stories, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And this one is a tough one.
Yeah.
I won't name names, but I was at a conference in Miami, one of these big splashy conferences. It was great in a lot of ways.
Okay.
I'm gonna get in trouble for what I'm gonna say right now.
Hold on. Let's get the bell ready. Oh, second period.
I'm not naming names.
And we gotta get them. We gotta get them.
What I found disturbing was that there was a separate stage for all conversations having to do with Blackness, DEI, etc. And that was created by a partner with the name Black in their actual brand. Listen, you had to really look for this place. If you were walking by all the beachy fun outside, you wouldn't find it. It was like I had to like literally find a map. And then once I got there, it was all of us. But it could be.
Wow.
So are we really there if we're putting ourselves in a corner? If we're allowing ourselves to essentially go in the back door?
But that's
and again, I get it. It's we have to always we're always negotiating. But when do we get to have enough leverage when you're in a place like that to put their foot down? And I do think that those individuals could have said, we're only doing this if we're going to be out there on the beach and everybody has to walk by our programming.
Message.
And I think we know why. I think we're just happy to be in the building. But I know
happy for 4 or 5 or 6 of us to be in the building.
That's the problem. And you know what? We were supposed to be in that building too. We were supposed to be in that building too. We actually supposed to be covering that. We were gonna be in the corner too.
I raised my hands a lot of times and said, you know what I mean? Sort of challenging people. There was an individual who actually said, if the words DEI aren't resonating, let's stop using them. And I said, oh, well, I was raised to be a patriot, the kind that doesn't negotiate with terrorists.
Oh, my
message.
Oh, my goodness. All right.
If you don't like a collection of 3 words that make a lot of sense, that's kind of a you thing.
That is, but sis, I want to go back to I want to get into that too, but I also want to talk about the event. We're not going to put them on blast because we're going to get said head of that event on the show soon, and we're going to have the same conversation.
Oh yeah, and he's lovely, and we'll all be there.
He's dope. Shout out to you, SC. We know. Shout out to you. But what was the overall Black experience for you? Like from your perspective, right? You said we're in a corner somewhere, but how are we interacting with each other? That's my main question. How are we collaborating? Because that was my big thing about the event.
Do want to get me in trouble tonight. I'm glad people know I'm at Dunkin' Donuts and not like the club or something.
You got with the shit, sis. That's what you do.
I'm going to be completely candid.
Please.
So I went to a very not diverse boarding school from the age of 14 to 18. You know, you can look it up. It's very prestigious. I had a great education there. There weren't a ton of people who look like me around. And when you're growing up as a woman from the ages of 14 to 18 in that environment, you learn a lot of ways to cope, right? And so when I then finally got the opportunity to apply to colleges, you'd be surprised. I thought Duke, University of Pennsylvania, I was like, I never seen this many Black people in my life. This is awesome. Mm-hmm. But what it felt like in that moment of like going to the quote unquote Black party that's in the back, it felt just like that. Like we can have our fun and we can have our experience, but it can't be in anybody's way. And that was disappointing.
But if that's what we have to do to even get in the building, right? What if the organizer is saying, hey, look, maybe this is just year one. We have to show and prove, because we always have to show and prove in order to even get the look in general, right?
And I'm sure there was a lot of money that had to be spent to even create that space, which is why we
respect it. Yeah.
I supported it. We're not saying it. Nobody is asking for those doing the work to stop doing it. What we're doing is just maybe provoking maybe a little bit more bravado, maybe a little bit, courage is the wrong word, but maybe a little bit more thoughtfulness about what one small change can do. Yeah. Something like, we refuse to have this hidden in the back. We want it to be where everyone has to walk by. Like that's something that someone could have advocated for very easily.
I'm gonna say it for you, sis. We gotta know our value, and they gotta put some respect on our name and know the value we bring to the table. That's it.
That's what the room was packed. It always is.
And there was a whole and you know what's crazy too? How could it be where it's 50 to 100 Black CMOs of some of the biggest brands and we're in the corner?
Now you're asking real questions.
Why? How is that possible? You feel me? How is that possible?
I struggle with this one. I liken it to how many death threats Oprah probably gets a day because she's not doing enough. Like we're never going to be doing enough for each other. We don't know what that CMO might be going through or what they're trying to build. I look at DoorDash right now.
Yep. Shout out to Kofi.
The team is insanely diverse when you compare it to some of its competitors, right? They're killing it. Like that brand is winning. I'm almost a daily user. I should probably not even admit that. Please, nobody look up my account.
Yeah, mad spam them all.
It's because they're getting ideas and percolating from all parts of sort of how we not necessarily even shop, but how we shop in this new way of delivering. Postmates never figured that out. Uber Eats doesn't have the same quote unquote culture, right? And I think that has a lot to do with the team that's being built over there. So there are examples of folks who are going out of their way to make those strides and make sure that the right people get in the rooms. It is difficult for those who are up against folks who don't want to believe in what they believe in.
That is real, sis. But I want to see us puff our. I want to see us with our chin up, chest out more. I'm sorry, chin up, chest out more.
And I think that the harder, just like with politicians, the more you have to lose, the harder that is to do.
That it is, but like somebody, for instance, if you compare using DoorDash as an example, right? That has been a perfect case study. Now, if you're the CMO to say, look at my diverse marketing team and look how ROI has been, look how it's changed the bottom line, right? It's not about black, white, it's about green. And we all work together to make sure green happens, and that's business, right? But the same accolades that CMO is making, and shout out to Kofi, we know this, brother. I do not see him celebrated like that.
No.
And him puff his chest out enough to be like, yo, guess what? I am that guy. And look what we doing.
And you know what? Maybe we need to start. That might be my next LinkedIn post, is celebrating him. Because he really is doing it. And people like Dara Trester, same thing. I my mentor, who you don't know, but she's a CMO. She's, of a company called Thought Exchange. She's not as much of a like LinkedIn talky person. She's more of a worky person, which is great. But my first big consulting gig, she brought me in to be sort of her number two. And she was the first Black executive, and I was the first Black consultant. And she didn't even think twice about it. She just was like, Lola's going to come here and do the work. And my friends there who are watching said, yep, I still work with them. She's since moved on. So it takes courage to be able to say, I'm going to be the one that's not going to make this an awkward thing just because I'm building the bench that I know is the best, even if it happens to all look like me.
So I just want to chime in really quickly.
Please.
When you are a selfless person, you have to look at the personality of the person and what their priorities are. When I do something for somebody, I've done hundreds of thousands of good gestures and things for people to help improve their lives tremendously that people will never know about, right?
Yep.
Because you don't do it for the accolade to puff your chest out. You do it because that's the type of person you are and you genuinely want to see somebody do better, right? Mm-hmm. So there are people that do not look for the accolades, right? So in that aspect, it is for us to recognize them, even if they don't recognize themselves, right? Okay,
absolutely.
The first part, right? Now the second part is what you touched on earlier, Jarrett, is some people are just happy to be in the room, right? So they're like, listen, man, we're in the room. If I wasn't here and if we wasn't in the corner, we wouldn't have anything at all. So I think that we have to allow each other, right? We have to allow each other a little bit of room, right? A little bit of room to say, listen, yes, is this the most optimal place or is this the most optimal conditions for us to be represented? No, but at least we are represented, right? Because it's not about pleasing everybody, but we've been oppressed for so long. We are not going to get everything back one shot.
Yep.
Right. We have to be okay with making progression in small steps and saying, at least now we're at stage 2, because eventually we'll be at stage 3 and stage 4. And if we continue to build, then forget us being front and center at somebody else's venue. We will have our own venue. And then we are everywhere because it is our own venue.
Exactly. Look at InvestFest. We were just talking about InvestFest. Exactly. Literally just talked about it before you came on, sis. But what I will say though, what you just said, the first part though, right? Maybe that person who's in that seat doesn't want to be celebrated or shown that. But this is why I love people like Walt. That's why I love people like Lola. Sometimes we have to see that. If you're in that seat, and shout out to I can't think of her name off the top of my head. She used to be the CMO of Netflix. I know you know her.
Oh yeah, Bozeman St. John.
Bozeman, yes.
And she and Walt, and there's a list of people who literally inspired me to open my mouth to the point where I almost thought, she's so much. Nobody can be that. I can't be that much. I mean, she can do that, but like I've got to tone it down. Like I almost had to wrestle with how inspired I was by Bozeman when I first started to interact with everything that she's done, and that's that fear, right? We all have that. That's that other side of the coin. Then you start to realize that no, you're not jealous and you're not a hater. You're actually inspired by that person. Then you can replicate what they're doing.
And she does it. And she's unapologetically me. And guess what? I run billion-dollar businesses, and I go on my Instagram. I'm on a boat chilling. I'm in my bikini. I talk real, and I'm all for Black people. Like that's real. That's who we are.
On the best season of Housewives there is, Beverly Hills.
Come on, shout out to come on, man. I mean, Netflix. Come on, like shit like that. We need to see that. Listen to this show. That listen to the show right now in our audience across Spotify, across YouTube, may not know Bozeman St. John.
Yeah.
Which is
that's the crazy part.
Mind-boggling. But yeah, and now they're gonna know. And
they need to.
Again, I don't have the stats, but I'm not sure there's another woman in that franchise who is as self-made as she is.
Oh no, she's different.
Right. But she's different. let me play devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we're in a system that doesn't want us to win. Remember, we are overloaded daily with just surviving. It is impossible for us to know every single person across every single different industry that looks like us, that might be empowered, that might be helping to move the culture forward. It's just an impossibility, right? I'll relate it to politics, right? They talk about this all the time, right? Yes, people vote and things of that nature, but how much do the people that vote actually take the time to study and read up and look at the candidate and look at their history and look at what they've done? It becomes overwhelming. It becomes overwhelming, right?
But so can I just say one thing, bro? I don't want to cut you up. My bad to cut you up. I don't want to cut you up, bro. But we have to look at our priorities, right? We don't know who Bozeman St. John is, but we know the whole 12 fucking man roster of the Knicks. We know 53 players of the Cowboys.
Right. Let's not get all Bill Cosby on ourselves.
No, that's real shit. That's real shit. How you don't know that? Because I want to. No, we got to know that for our community. I'm sorry.
I would love for us to, but then we're saying we have to be twice as good as everybody else, and
we do.
I hear that. I want us to progress past. I think that has created a lot of pressure and trauma on. I mean, we're not the youth anymore, but like our generation. I don't want that for the next generation. I want them to be okay with being a Black girl who's not magic, but who's just human.
Right. But it's interest, Lola. So Jarrett, right? We all have different interests, right? We all have different interests, right? And people love entertainment, sports, music, things of that nature. That is entertaining, right? So yes, you love the Knicks, and guess what? You know the Knicks. You might love the Knicks. You never got paid for nothing the Knicks did. Like, you understand? They win a championship, you get nothing. But it's the entertainment. It's what you use to help cope with whatever you're going through in the day to help you release. So people gravitate towards what they need to gravitate towards to give them the release and to go through. So yes, people love entertainment,
balance, bro. Huh? You say balance.
No, it is. But so let me ask you a question. Watch this. If you wasn't in sales, if you wasn't in sales and marketing, would you know as many sales and marketing? The answer is no. The answer is no.
No, me personally, for big brands, yes. Something like Netflix, absolutely.
Okay, let's try again. No way. We're not doing that. If you're, what did I just say to you? I just said take yourself out of that realm. Take yourself out. Perfect example. I do construction. I don't do sales and marketing. I'm not concentrating on who the salesman. I'm concentrating on who the construction guys are. So anybody that's in their industry might know who's in there. If you were selling cars, you might know the top car salesman and stuff like that. But you're not going to be like, who's the this? It's just not going to happen.
I might not be in the real estate, but I'll know Ryan Serhant. I'll know the CEO of WeWork. That's all I'm trying to say.
I'm Ryan Serhant.
Yeah, but.
People who are really in real estate, I don't think they would put him on the check.
That's what I'm telling you. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
Like, he's up there. He's
interesting, but I mean,
again, I
don't want to hold us.
I just remember that you did a segment. Ryan, I love you, and I watch the show.
You know what I'm saying? Cut a check.
But I'm just saying, I just don't want to. This is the part where I say, give us leeway. Give us leeway. That's what I'm saying, right? Give us leeway. The message that I'm sending is. I know a lot of CEOs, and I invest my time into understanding CEOs and stuff like that because I'm a CEO, because I'm in that realm. But when I was a worker, that technically in that time did not concern me, right? When I'm in this industry, that I'm concentrated on this industry, because again, this is taking time out your day to learn all these people or focus on somebody else's life when your fucking life ain't straight. Remember, most people, we trying to figure out our own goddamn life. There's no way you're gonna get a average person that's struggling, trying to find a job, trying to feed their family, trying to just live at the most basic level, to spend all their time now researching somebody else that will absolutely not affect what they're doing.
But it's a specific audience we're talking about, right? The same 20,000 people that has put $1,000 into a ticket to InvestFest. That's the audience I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the generalized. I'm not talking about the generalized.
Here's what I think you're getting at. I think you're getting at what it means to niche your audience as a personal brand.
Absolutely.
And some people do it in a very focused way. Jarrett, I would say maybe you and I are in that realm. Like, I am focused on, really building my network with sales and marketing leaders and ascending marketers,
right?
And the adjacent product marketers, like that whole world, strategists. I probably don't know the top 5 engineers at Boeing, and I'm okay with that.
That's cool.
So it is all about focus and figuring out where you want to invest your time in learning. One of the most important things I ever heard Seth Godin say live in a speech was that the worst way that you can spend your time if you really want to be successful is idle, unintentional learning. Grazing. Message hit me in my heart, because I'm like, oh wow, I did a lot of that. Like, did I wake up and plan to read that thing, or did I just read that thing because I saw that thing?
There you go.
When you start to be a little bit more intentional, then you can have that balance that I think you're talking about.
And me and Cuzzo talk about that all the time. Me and you talk about that all the time. Being intentional, on the guests we have, being intentional on the way that we move, being intentional at the events we go to and the events we don't go to. That's exactly what she's saying, right?
Absolutely.
Because why? Because we are overloaded wearing 10 hats apiece. We do not have the time in the day to run this business, take care of our families, to talk to each other, and then worry about 15 presidential candidates, 24 Senate. We don't have the time.
I get it, but we're doing it actively right now, because guess what? We're in a space right now where we need to know what's moving and shaking, who's monetizing, what they're doing, and all that other shit. And I pay attention to everything on top of running the business, on top of being a father.
But that's your industry.
But that's what I'm saying, though. I'm just saying the intent, the mindset,
Right?
We're all different. Mindset.
I love the way people like you, Jarrett, who can do all that work, and then you just tell me who to vote for. I'm pretty sure you're not going to tell me to vote for who you're not going to tell me to vote for. You know what I mean? I'll take the shortcut, and we don't have to get into that because we probably just don't even want to.
No. But that all I'm saying is, Lola, that you got to understand that the mindset. But we talk about the captive audience that pays attention to information that you're absorbing, right? If you are a new user or a new person tuning into anything, politics, it doesn't matter. If it doesn't catch your attention or spark something within 5 to you're off it. You're off it. That's what makes social media so popular, because the scrolling aspect. Nope. Oh, I like this. Nope. Yeah, I like this. You're intentionally filtering through what your mind is already telling you don't want to pay attention to, and only things that interest you are what you're going to reshare or comment on or like. So that's what I'm saying. That's what the average person is going to do. And I'm just saying, give us a little bit of leeway and allow them to do that. We can't kill ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we have to give ourselves room to grow, room to learn, and room to understand that, yes, in addition to what we are doing in our daily lives, we should pay attention to other things that you as a person deem important.
And those could be any
right. And there you go. That's the message.
And that's the number one message I want marketers to absorb from this whole responsible marketing movement that I'm writing the book about and trying to encourage people is there's no one right way to do something that creates positive social impact. Right. There's only the way to find the way to maximize it, right? There's only the way to find the right intersection, and that could be anything.
Anything.
It could be having to do with Black Americans. It could be having to do with Indigenous Americans. It could be having to do with people with disabilities. It could be having to do with children with mobility issues. It could be having to do with people who look at Peloton. I see that as a social impact brand. They actually made it easier for people to exercise. They took away the embarrassment factor.
Right.
Like, that is social impact marketing.
Absolutely.
So it's finding problems to solve.
Yep.
And there are no wrong or right problems to solve as long as they're making a meaningful and measurable impact on both the society that they're meant to benefit and what some people don't agree with, but I will say the and because I'm a marketer, the business.
Right. Yeah, no, listen, business is run by one thing and one thing only, the bottom line. We know what the bottom line is, right? Making money to sustain the business, build the business so that the business can actually stay in business. So I'm with you 100%. Like I said, listen, even with me, right? There's things that I pay attention to. Yes, I pay attention to politics. And yes, I try to be a person that is multifaceted when it comes to understanding a little bit of everything, right? But even me sometimes, I sit back and I'm like, I don't have the time, the energy, or the just the overall want to pay attention to other things past, just this much, because I need to concentrate on other things. We only have 24 hours in a day. And right now, in this moment where I am in my life, that's not a priority to me. So that's all you know what I mean? Like, people are going to prioritize. Yeah, people are going to prioritize. That's why they say politics is a what? What they say politics is a what? What's the number one thing they say about winning politics? What is it? It's a popularity contest. Politics is a popularity contest. It's the who's more popular. Most people that vote have no idea why they're voting for a person, who they're voting for, what their record was. It's a popularity contest.
Unpack that a little bit, though. What creates popularity?
Huh?
What creates popularity?
Well, there's a lot of things that can create popularity, right? Media, demeanor, right? How you carry yourself, the things that you do and how they either adversely affect the community, because adverse effects, obviously, bad news travels faster than good news, right? That can go, things that you've done for the community that have impacted the community in a positive manner. All of these things matter, right? How you come across to the people. How do people resonate with your message? You understand? I didn't do all my homework, but I can say this. Off the top of my head, I don't think other than Donald Trump, and I don't know, right? I didn't do my research on it, but when have you ever seen a president become a president that technically wasn't a senator or congressman that was in politics for a certain amount of time and then become a president other than Donald Trump, who's technically just a businessman, who's never been in politics?
Well, I mean, you could call him a businessman. You could call him a charlatan. You could call him.
I'm just saying. Wait, Lola, I'm just showing you.
The KKK. I'm just saying. But I want to finish where I'm going here.
Okay.
Yes, he did those things because this country benefited him so much. He had so much unearned privilege that, of course, he was the first person to be able to do that. Ijeoma Oluo wrote a book that I want everybody to read, Mediocrity, The Dangerous Legacy of White Male America. And that's a provocative title. I didn't write it.
Good title, goddamn.
and it's meaningful because when you think about that, I'm going to get a little meta right now. And I talk about
let's talk about it.
Let's talk about capitalism.
Okay.
We don't practice it, in my opinion, in a true form.
Okay.
Because for capitalism to actually work, there has to be failure at a level playing field. Donald Trump literally should have failed so many times, but he was protected. So that was actually an anti-capitalist function, the way that he rose to the top, which is why we should be so critical of it. And in my opinion, not admire it at all, because it's a signal of what happens when mediocrity is allowed to thrive. If message,
I was gonna hit it. I was like, I'm gonna hit it. I didn't know which one to scream.
The inheritance that you would have gotten from Fred Trump, you would have done a lot more. I can tell you that right now.
I could definitely.
But what I understand what you're saying, but when we talk about, so you said capitalism.
So yeah, let me finish where I'm going with that.
Okay.
There's a very symbiotic relationship between diversity, equity, inclusion, and capitalism. Because unless there's a level playing field, the best ideas can't have a chance to rise to the top, right? So when you have these, and I went to an Ivy League school. I'm not pretending that I'm not having been part of what I critique in these sorts of, gate-kept environments. But if you're at Harvard hanging out with Mark Zuckerberg in his dorm room, you're going to have a lot higher of a likelihood to get on a playing field that's not level with somebody who maybe went to Temple in Philadelphia, but had just the same amount of ability and smarts without the resources, right?
Message.
For true capitalism to exist, we have to be invested in leveling the playing field and allowing the losers to lose and the failures to fail. We can't let people like Elon Musk start suing us because we didn't buy his ads. That happened last week. Like, what? This is a free market. I thought that's what you wanted. We didn't want to buy your stuff, and now you're going to sue us for it?
I did not hear that. That's crazy.
We'll send a lot of links in.
Yeah, please. I'm sending a link. Please.
There's a lot of links.
Right now. We got a comment too.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about it.
We got now. See, Hayes. Now tell us about the BS Biden done.
Here's why I'm not going here though, and you guys can go here without me. Here's why I'm not going here. And I'm going to be fully on my moment right now, where
real, sis.
This is a historic moment for people like me. This is a historic moment for when my grandfather bought me a black doll that he got handmade when he couldn't find one in America and came to Nigeria and was looking everywhere to find me a black doll. And he's not alive anymore. But we could potentially have a black woman president, a South Asian woman president. And I don't really even want to talk about anything else, because I know she's not going to do a worse job than the guy who got the job because of mediocrity. And I think it really is. To me, it's that simple.
Oh, man.
I mean, if you care about, billionaires.
Sis, I love you, sis, but
that's what you care about. I don't get it, but sure. I don't know how that benefits all the people who are just standing in line trying to get their Vicodin at the CVS in Alabama. But somehow they think that Donald Trump is making them more economically sound. He's not. He never did. Right? They'd like to be associated with those ideas, but they're not benefiting from them.
We're both trying to see how we're going to approach this.
I'm just going to say this. I'm going to
we see the comments.
Listen, I'm just going to say this right off the bat. I
will vote for her because she's black. And because because she's black and look at her resume.
Yeah, but I'm not doing that. I'm going to be the first to say that. I'm telling you right now, I stand as an individual. I don't care what skin color you are. When it comes to politics, and it comes to the presidency, I look at it as the lesser of two evils. You understand? I feel like we really haven't had a phenomenal candidate in a very, very, very long time. Kamala Harris, her being black. Hold on, hear me out. Kamala Harris and her being black and all that shit is good, but you're not getting my vote just because you're black, because just because you're black doesn't mean that you're going to do something for the black people. Like, we got to get past that. You understand what I'm saying? Right. And I'm just saying this.
So is there a lesser of two evils that's not Kamala Harris?
Say it again.
Who's the lesser of the two evils?
No,
would you rather us?
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is this. Let's look at it at a more broader spectrum, right? What you're saying to me is before they pulled Biden out the race, which they already knew that he should have never been the front runner anyway, right? Before they pulled him out the race. What you're saying is,
I didn't agree with that. I was
okay, but watch this. I just want to pose this question from a person that didn't go to an Ivy League and all that. I'm just a common sense kind of guy.
Means nothing.
No. I just like to say that though. I like to say that for all the intellectuals that feel like, because you went to a smarter school that your common sense makes every stop, right?
I'm glad
what you're saying to me is of all the Democratic Party people that exist, senators, congressmen, aldermen, whatever you are of the Democratic Party that had the opportunity, that you have a track record of doing something big. I love Bernie Sanders. How about that? I love Bernie Sanders. How about that? Hold on. But I'm just saying, hold on, hear me out. So what you're saying is to the common person that we don't know politics, we ain't studying this. What you're saying is you let Sleepy Joe run again, saying that there was nobody else in the entire Democratic Party that could have been a better representation than a almost geriatric.
Shout out to Cory Booker, Westmore.
Right, you understand what I'm saying?
Kamala. I'm saying,
let me finish. Let me cook this. What you're saying is this man was the best representation for the Democratic Party and the entire Democratic Party, and you didn't realize, that he wasn't the right person for the job until he fumbled the ball completely in that debate, and then you want to pull him? I'm just not buying that.
Why didn't we? I'm just saying, can I just say something before you go, Lola?
I'm not buying that.
Why didn't we command that?
I'm not buying that.
Why didn't we command for her to have that seat before then? Until you said, until then we come out and drove. $550 million in 3 weeks is a lot for us to fucking put together, sis. I'm with you.
I don't know. Maybe I like to prioritize the issues.
Let's do the issues.
It boggles my mind that we're even talking about that when the lesser of two evils is literally a convicted criminal.
No, I get that, sis. Me, can I just give you just my high level real quick, sis? Right? I think there's a bigger play, right? Mm-hmm. I don't trust neither party, and I also think money runs the world. I think there's an evil agenda at play and all that other stuff. I don't know which one, but at the end of the day, I just don't want us to get into the point where we're just voting for her because it's the best thing for us because she's black. What if the grand scheme was for them to parade her and put her up there just so they can fuck us up more? That's all I'm just asking. What if that is the game plan, Lola? I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it isn't.
Agreed. And listen, I will respect you regardless of what you decide.
Of course, sis.
When that day in November comes, and for whatever reason, I feel very confident that even if I were thinking lesser of two evils, I know which one the lesser is. I know very confidently. That's just what I know.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it doesn't make it right. Be clear on my message. It doesn't make it right. And in my opinion, I'm not saying I'm voting for Trump. I just might not vote at all because I don't believe in what she's doing. Like, I don't believe in her. Listen, the thing is, again, I understand I'm not perfect, but I understand that the president has a certain amount of powers, right? I understand that technically, if the president really wants to do something, the first 24 hours, that's it, right? The day one, that without Congress interfering, without Senate, day one, that first 24 hours is your time to shine. Other than that, it's what Congress, 2/3 of Congress and this and that, right? So I understand that, right? So I understand the basics, right? What I'm saying is, again, what you're telling me is all of these phenomenal Democrats, mayors, governors, congressmen, whatever, the message that you're sending to us. You're saying that none of these hundreds of other people
especially
were better.
Especially black.
Especially black. You're saying that we could not find not one other person better than Sleepy Joe. If that's the message that you're sending to me,
oh no, that's not the
Democratic Party. What other message is there then? Because you
allowed.
message
is just that we found ourselves in a moment and we had to navigate that moment.
What moment? You knew throughout his presidency he might not even live through the presidency, and you want to? Are you kidding?
I think that Fox News had a lot to do with making us believe that that's the case.
So Hayes just put that in the comments. Seeing that media controls a lot of this stuff. That's the perception. I just feel like I love my black queens. I would love it. I just feel it's like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna go crazy deep on it. It's like the Jesse Jackson. For me, I just feel like I want the right. If Michelle would have ran, I'm for it. Michelle has a conviction.
Popular. You're doing the same thing.
No, I just like her. I do. I like her better. I feel like she did more. I feel like Barack didn't do shit for us either. I'm just keeping it funky with you. He gave us inspiration.
Let's get unfunky before my dad sees this and says I need to make new friends. I'm just kidding.
Sis, we love you for free.
I'm kidding. I mean,
what we're trying to do is just being. I just want us to be independent thinkers and all that other stuff. I don't want us to just flock because I hate seeing it because just because we're black, this was black. What if they just put somebody black in power as a puppet, and to do all this shit so they can put their agenda in place? I just want us to make sure we look at everything.
That's what
I'm saying, sis.
You know what I mean? But I don't think that's Kamala, and maybe I could be wrong, but I think we're dealing with two different situations.
Got you. That's all I'm saying. Let's just be open-minded, sis.
You will see me being one of the people holding her accountable for what I want.
Cool. Right? That's all I asked for. That was the realest shit I've heard, sis.
No, time out.
Please, that's real.
I want to talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Hold on. I love I love this conversation. I love where we're going with this. I love it.
No. That's what I've been waiting for. That's what I've been waiting for right now. That's what I've been waiting for. You're saying that you will be one of the people holding her accountable. Hold her accountable how? She becomes a president and she doesn't do anything for us. What are you going to do? I'm not being funny, but what are you going to do as one person versus the president? If she, this is a real question. If we put her in office and she does absolutely nothing of what she promised, which ain't uncommon for a politician to lie and say, I'm going to do all of these things for whatever group of people and get in there and do something completely different. What are you going to say? Well, we're not going to give you another 4 years. When in the 4 years she's in, what damage does she cause then? What are you going to do? That's the argument right there.
I mean, we're going to have to hold her accountable, and we're going to have to assess them. Did healthcare become more accessible? Let's see if that happens.
But that's my argument right there. I'm not being funny, but that's my argument. When we are elevating somebody to technically the highest job, highest position in our country, technically, right? The president of the United States, and we put somebody in that type of a position to change millions, billions of people's lives, right, with their decision making, and they choose to do something else. Technically, unless we're gonna come together, and I mean as a force, like we shut New York down, shut Philly, and we know exactly. Unless we are gonna come together in a force that technically has never been seen before, there is no way technically to hold them accountable. They're already in power. What are you gonna do but ride the wave out and not give them another shot at it?
The damage is done already. The damage is done, and I'm going to talk about COVID and I'm going to talk about the many people who lost their lives because of how we handle that.
Okay,
we can get it. We can get into a lot. I'm going to talk about the things that we shouldn't be giving the other person another chance for, right? And then whether or not we have the right Democratic candidate, I think that's a great conversation that we should continue. And we have another 4 year to choose another one. If this one doesn't work out, but
people didn't make it through the 4 years.
There is something emotional about it that I'm just going to allow myself to enjoy at this moment.
I'm not mad at that.
No, I'm not mad, but I'm just telling you. Guess what? You know what? You heard what you just said. You heard what you just said, talking about the COVID and things, and I lost 13 people in COVID. 13 people. Some people never made it through the 4 years. Some people never made it through the 4 years. Some people never made it through the 4 years to be able to put somebody else. Like, these people are doing things that could affect or end your life immediately. Where you have, that's it. You don't have the ability to choose anybody else. And then what? That's the only message that I'm sending. So when I say what I said, I'm just saying, again, right? Me and Cuzzo talk about the common sense training. Like, stop the politics and let's get to the human factor and stop the fucking bullshit. Are we gonna put somebody in there that's actually for the people, that actually has had track record of doing something for the? Are they gonna get everything done that they want on their agenda? No, but if it's a difference between putting somebody in office that's for the people and actually want to see human beings thrive, and the difference between putting somebody in there, like you said, that's like a circus clown. I agree with you 120%, but that's my problem right there. That's my problem. It's getting somebody in there that actually truly gives a fuck.
And there's a lot of people doing the work, sis. There's a lot of people.
And there are people like, oh my goodness.
A lot of people doing
Shout out to Erica Ford here in New York.
When I want to celebrate people, but there's the woman who championed the Crown Act before Dove got involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
And created legislation for Black women to be able to wear our natural hair. In the workplace, there are these problem solvers solving problems. And so maybe if we bring it back a little bit to call it small wins that I do still think are potentially impactful if we can marry both our altruism and our self-interest. That's a belief I have, is that those two can live together. Maybe we can do things like make sure Teslas are able to spot Black people walking across the street and they don't accidentally run us over. You know what I mean? There are problems that we can solve at a practical level. And then there are philosophical and systemic, structural, just hot messes, for lack of a better word, that we also have to talk about and fix. And we need all three archetypes of people like us.
Absolutely. That's the overall arching message, sis. We need each other, and let's just be open-minded, because we know where our hearts are. I know where all three, everybody on the screen, I know what our main objective is, and we know where we put our people first. Whether we agree on every stance, absolutely not. But guess what? We want to move our people forward, sis, and that's all I want to see. I want to see us get to the point where we're holding everybody accountable and we stand on business.
And then we're supporting each other too. Let me tell you where I had to critique myself.
Please do.
And this was an embarrassing moment, actually. And I love talking about embarrassing moments.
Let's do it.
So
hold on. So you're gonna talk about embarrassing moment, third period, fourth period?
We in like 6 now.
Let's go. We rolling.
I always say, let's do this for an hour. We're almost done. I'll try to tell this one quickly though.
All right.
So when Spill app came out, and you know me, I can be a curmudgeon, like, do we need another thing? And then what is this? And I hadn't been thinking about the context of the people who had been building Black Twitter, right? Who had been building this space that was so special. And what could they do that was even more special somewhere else? Do we really need another platform? That the fact that was my gut reaction sickens me so much. And you know who came for me right there on Twitter? Oh my goodness, why am I forgetting his name? Not Jesse Jackson, but
not Sharpton.
Damn,
Jesse Jackson, Sharpton
has a radio show.
I was gonna say Dr. Umar or somebody. Don't tell me Dr. Umar came out.
I'll have to find the tweet and share it, but it was sort of like what do you know about building a tech company?
Oh.
And I was like,
message.
You put the wrong one. Somebody put the wrong one.
So why would I need to bring it out of my mouth to say, oh, we don't need another Twitter? Of course we do. Yeah. And I changed my mind. And so if we can change our minds and be willing to see things differently, we can progress. Similar thing happened when I had maybe a little bit of a kerfuffle with some of my pals at LinkedIn. I wanted to do something. I didn't get to do it. I was whining about it, blah, 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 blah. And my first instinct was to go to one of my Black executive friends who's at the top there. Mm-hmm. And then I thought to myself, why am I putting more work on her plate? I'm going to tag her boss. I'm going to leave her alone. I know she's trying every day for us. So I'm not going to complain to her anymore. I'm going to complain to the person who's not listening to her. And that had a lot more effectiveness. So it's just really rethinking what it means to both support and hold ourselves accountable. And when we think about accountability, it has to start with us.
There you go.
Absolutely.
I never want to, and call me on it. I never want to
That's real,
anybody on LinkedIn about anything that I wouldn't critique myself for if I did the same thing.
There you go.
That's real.
If someone tells me I use a racial slur, which has happened, a Japanese gentleman explained to me, and not gentleman, sorry, a person who goes by they, explained to me that to use the term kowtow is actually very, very disparaging to Japanese people. Mm. And I used it in terms of we shouldn't be kowtowing to blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I said to him, I said, thank you for educating me on that.
Absolutely.
It's that simple.
That's real.
And that's humility. Humility isn't being quiet and demure. Humility is being willing to be loudly wrong.
Yeah.
Well, again, just to add to what you're saying, it's the accountability thing that we are lacking so much. This is one of our major problems. We are afraid. See, we can do this a lot, right? Our culture can do this a lot, but we can't look in the mirror and acknowledge what we got going on and what we're willing to do to change. So we just keep doing this. That's the problem, you see? So I'm one of those loud voices. Hold on. I'm one of those loud voices. I'm one of those ones that say, I don't care if I'm good. If my peoples ain't good, I'm out of here. And not only am I out of here, I'm throwing chairs, I'm saying something about it, and I don't care what happens because it needs to be said. See, I'm one of those. So I can stand on what I said because I've lost jobs. I've left hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table to protect my people and never made it about me. It's not about me. It's about the culture. So I'm one of those. But I am willing to also listen and learn and accept my failures also, right? So it's not about just staying in a certain place, right? Because we've made mistakes. Yes, we've made mistakes, but are we continuing to make the same mistake or are we growing to do something different? One of the major problems that I have with our people is we don't come together as a people because when things happen, you look at it and say, well, that's not my family.
Affect me.
It didn't affect
me. It wasn't my neighborhood.
Right there. It didn't affect me. That wasn't my child. It wasn't my neighborhood, right? What he said?
No, he said literally probably 44 million black people to be collectively accountable.
Thank you. So perfect example. Again, I just told you what they're doing in Florida. There you go, Hayes. Forget 44 million people. How many people live in Florida? How many black people live in Florida? Florida has how many millionaires and billionaires that live in all those houses and all that? People of influence, people of power, right? And they are literally changing the educational laws to say F black people in Florida. And y'all not even standing up. So if you can't even stand up,
I don't know what Gabrielle Union and what's her husband's name?
Dwayne Wade.
I don't know what they're doing.
No, that's D Wade. Yeah,
D Wade.
Are they doing something?
Dwayne Wade. Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about.
I don't know if he goes by something else now.
I'm telling you right now. I don't even.
When he was a Heat, he was Dwayne Wade.
Right. I don't even want to go into Dwayne Wade. I don't want to go into Dwayne Wade because he's a whole different. But hold on. Let me finish unpacking it. Finish unpacking it. I just want to say, if you can't stand up, see, we expect each other to take giant leaps, right? This is something that I always used to teach my youngest son. Whenever my youngest son used to come visit me, He's the one to learn advanced things because he sees everybody else doing the advanced things. And I would never teach him advanced things. And he goes, Dad, why you don't never teach me this and never teach me that? And one of the famous things that I always say to him is, I can't teach you how to run because every time I see you, I gotta teach you how to walk again. I cannot teach you how to run because every time I see you, you don't know how to walk properly. I have to reteach you the fundamentals. The fundamentals, right? I cannot teach you to run because you don't know how to walk properly. Here's the thing. If we are scared to start, if Hayes just said it, 44 million people, if we can't take a stand, right? This is the presidency. If we can't take a stance at the state level, the aldermen, right? The Bronx borough, the borough presidents, the et cetera, we can't take a stand and start making changes at these smaller levels. It's no way that you think you're going to get that many people to take a stance on a major level. We have to practice and get better at taking the small wins. Like you said, the small wins, taking the small steps, getting everybody comfortable with reacting and thinking in a different manner so that it becomes learned behavior at the most basic level.
Come on. And you know who I want you to have on your show if you haven't? Please. You know Shanti Maya Martin. She is the GM of WURD in Philadelphia. And this is exactly what she's doing. She's thinking about Philadelphia politics at the very local level.
Thank you.
Thinking about how to create Black-owned media and have discussions maybe make I don't know, coastal elites like me who are just like Democrat or nothing, uncomfortable. And I'm willing to engage.
Let's do it. Let's set that up. I would love to have that. I think that would be a phenomenal show.
I think this was phenomenal.
Let's set that up, huh?
Because I think this was phenomenal. Because too many times we can't have our own. I know many people that have that stance, and when I say something, they'd be like, "Oh no." If I was to say some of the shit I say right now, it'd be like, oh my God, on LinkedIn or anything like that, it'd be like, oh my God, sis, you know that. But the fact that you and I and bro, we could all have this conversation is all love. Like, I still love you, sis. I don't care what the fuck it is.
Of course, are you kidding me?
You know what I'm saying? No, but most people can't have this conversation and be like this. Yeah, nobody can be like this. That's why I love it.
This is real discourse. When we're nicing each other, we're not doing anything for each other. The last thing I want to say on this too, though, is that when it comes to people's comfort levels of how they're willing to show up, and I call it rabble rouse. And Lisa Hurley's taught me a lot about this. We have to have a lot of expansive empathy for like what the comfort level is for an individual. So because it might be comfortable for me to make a comment right there in the middle of the public, just because like that's my vibe, I'm Yoruba, where we say what we want. Some people might find that so deeply uncomfortable that they might want to send DM feedback. And I think both of those things, and I've grown to believe that both of those ways of advocacy can be okay, as long as it's coming from a place of authentic sort of, this is who I am and not this is who I'm scared to be, right? So as long as we're not moving from a place or continuing to push ourselves to stop moving from a place of fear, we can be our authentic advocates, and that's going to look very different for each and every one of us, right? Because for me, it's when you say, what are you going to, we talk a lot. Oh, yeah, I'm a writer. I write strategy decks. I write articles. I wrote a book. Like a lot of my contribution to this world is going to be the written word. Does that sometimes feel, like it's not as important as building rocket ships and trying to send them to Mars like Elon Musk is doing? Well, no, actually, I never feel like that. So bad example. But like at the end of the day, your work is your work. And I think we were all sent here to do our work, and there's no perfect work. But if it's the work that lights you up and you can keep doing it and it influences people's lives in positive ways, I get messages all the time from CMOs who said, wow, I read what you wrote and I sent it to my team. To me, I prefer that than getting checks. No, that's hyperbole. I love getting checks too.
Message.
My time is impeccable, sis. You shitting me? I was waiting for it.
If I raise up, gonna be trouble.
Matter. Those moments matter that, oh, wow, you read something that I wrote and now you went into a boardroom that I wasn't in and you're thinking differently about it. That is impact. It may not be the kind that builds, again, rocket ships that go to Mars so we can run away from our planet after we ruin it, but it's okay with me.
But tie it in. No. That's a perfect segue. Tie it in. What? Tie it in, cuz you know how you got to tie it in. Impacts over metrics.
I was gonna ask about that. Like,
well, go ahead.
No, if somebody says, "Yo, look, we brought it up to our team today," like, how much do you think, especially if they're a white CMO, white professional, how much of that's performative? Because why didn't they fucking hiring you to be in that room?
Say that again.
So, all right, if a CMO hits you up and say, "Yo, something I saw on Lola's post on LinkedIn made me go to my team today and change our whole fundamental way of doing marketing," and if that's the case, why are they not hiring you, sis?
Well, I guess we're gonna find out how many cases of books get sold to the people who've said those things to me.
And you're gonna promote. We're gonna promote the F out of that responsible marketing, and that's what we're doing. But stuff like that.
I will say that the people who, this is interesting, the people who are the quietest are the ones who actually want to engage in the work,
bing bong,
and invest in the work.
Absolutely.
So most of the people who I actually work with on this work, you won't even ever see them in my comments because they just want to talk to me privately.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. So there's the sort of awareness piece, but that's not really the piece I think the most about. That's just me sort of almost creating my own Wikipedia on LinkedIn so people know where my headspace is at. And then those who are aligned, like those who we can do aligned work together, they're not going to be the majority, but they're going to be far more than enough for me to make the kind of impact I want to make on our industry, and I feel really excited and
that's what it's about.
Where I feel almost self-actualized, right? Like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I turned 40 this year. I'm getting up there, and it feels really good. Yeah. And so it also comes with the willingness to just be able to kind of say what I want to say.
And you stay that, sis. And the only reason I asked that question is because I want to hold everybody accountable too. Because I've had CMOs, sis, that never liked the post, came to my DM. I love what you're doing. And guess what? Meet on me with Tuesday. I got an $80K budget. I need you to execute this, and this. Show up saying this. I've had that. And I've had also people that just be like, all right, cool. So everybody supports differently. And I just want to make sure you support it and stuff like that. Because like some of this stuff, let's be real. Some of the love is performative.
And some of the love that's public is performative too.
Absolutely. That's all I'm saying, sis.
Don't like my post if you're not going to buy the book.
Bing bong.
Like my post if you're not going to invest in my company.
That's it. What is real?
So performative is we could have a whole conversation about the different layers of performatism and also some of the ways that it can be effective. That I'll leave you with this little mind bender.
Let's do it, sis.
Why do we go to Broadway? Why do we watch shows? Why do we read books? Performance can often be what helps teach us to think a different way. It doesn't always have to be real to make an impact, right? Think about size inclusivity and how that has changed Instagram in the last 5 years. When it first started, they would have these pictures and then you'd go into the store and they don't actually sell the size. It started performative, but we've gotten to a place where it's much more than that. And people like Rihanna are making way more money than they would have otherwise. The Kardashians, everybody, because they realize that they want to sell clothes to everyone. They're not like the Lululemon guy who's like, I just want to sell clothes to people who can fit in see-through leggings. Like he was more interested in his racism than his business. And those are the worst kind of leaders that are way too prevalent in corporate America. If you care more about hatred than money, you need to be out.
So I just want to piggyback something that you said.
I'll put that back
because I told Cuzzo to segue that. Impact over metrics. You said something that's very important that I want to tell you something from personal experience.
Sure.
You have absolutely no idea what your spoken word can do to a person. So no, you might not be building rocket ships and you might not be doing things of that nature, but you can inspire somebody and give them the courage to chase their dreams, and they might end up building the rocket ship based off of what you were doing. Because the way that life works is you start somewhere and you end somewhere, someplace completely different. See, where we started from, people would have never thought me and him would own companies and be doing what we're doing now. We started in some place completely different, doing things that were completely not the same, right? but it was the leadership and the tutelage of people that gave us spoken word, had us read things and things of that nature that helped us to develop into what we are today. So where we started is not where we ended. So no, yes, your spoken word is needed. It's impact over the metrics. So yes, it's the spoken word. Yes, you want to, be able to feed your family and survive, but you never know. You never know. You could change somebody's life, like Jarrett said, and like you said, that would never get in contact with you, that you might not never get flowers from, but because they read your book, because they watched something, you inspired them to go on and be the best part of themselves that they might not have gotten from anybody else but you. So I just want you to understand.
And that's real, sis.
I appreciate that.
That's so real, sis. And I just want to piggyback that, sis.
Design. I'll leave it at that. If you guys look into your human design, it's not anything like too woo-woo, but it's just basically like your star sign with the time you were born.
I look into that all the time. Yeah.
Okay. So what you just said,
right?
I had a coach that taught me that it was okay for me to live in that place of you are the pusher. You're not always the doer. And if you try to always be the doer, you will not have the biggest amount of impact that you could. So I just love what you said. I think it's going to encourage a lot of people to try and really find, like, what do we call those? Your towering gifts, right? Your zone of genius. And it's not going to be the same for everybody. I could go on for hours with you.
That's what we on, sis. Like we don't practice what we preach, sis.
But hey, said, wait, I wanted to read.
Said, I'm not saying I'm going to change the world, but I'm going to spark. I guarantee I'm going to spark the brain that would change the world. Tupac Shakur, and I'm going to keep it so real. I'm born on the same day as Tupac, sis. I am that. That's why it's more than the title. I'm more than just a salesperson. I'm a brother. I'm a father. I'm a rapper. I'm a creative. I'm a dev person. He's a soldier. He's a military man. Like, we are so many different damn things, and we're gonna show them that we better than whatever perception they have of us, and that's what it's for. That's why we created this. I really
understood the essence of the brand in terms of the title until just now, and it's beautiful.
That's what we
are. I love you, cousin, but never call me a soldier again.
No, military. I said Marine.
No, you said soldier though. Don't ever call me a soldier again. I love you to death.
Contra.
Put some respect on my name, bro. Put some respect on my name, man.
Nuke
You two absolutely remind me of
my son. My son is an Army guy. My sister's in his Army. I love you guys, but I'm not a soldier. I'm a Marine. There's a big difference.
Fucking jarhead. Yeah, you know what I meant. I showed them love.
Jarhead. I'll take that. Yeah.
No, but I'm gonna keep it real with you, sis. I'm gonna end off on this, sis. I just want to say thank you for coming back on part 2, sis. I love everything that you stand for. I love everything that you represent. Like I said, we stand 10 toes on this, sis. We stand on business when it comes to this podcast. And we have, guess what? This year we've had 72 guests, all Black talent, sis. We do everything ourselves. We edit everything ourselves. We book everything ourselves. We run our business. We have our kids. I can't get my kids on Tuesdays and Thursdays because I'm out here doing this shit. And we know we're going to change the world and impact the world. So when you come here and you talk your shit, sis, and you tell your story, I just want you to know the sacrifice that comes behind this shit. And we really rock with you. And the only reason we invite you because we rock with you.
And believe me, I don't take it lightly. I don't even remember the last time I agreed to do a podcast. That's not because I'm saying that, like, whatever. I tend to be a little bit more of I'll just say it. I hope my mom's not listening. Disorganized person. Going on, things slip, but this was important for me to do because I believe in what you are doing, and I really appreciate the sacrifice that you've made for
that means everything, sis. And that's what anybody listening, anybody that rock with us can. He just said some shit too. You know what I'm saying? Always appreciate Lola's form of, showing love to dope people. You don't know who you inspire, sis. Like your story. We all linked. I be seeing it. It's only so many of us, and you put on for us Madison, Walt. You know what I'm saying? Liz, Liba, Lisa. Like, it's only a few of us that's really putting on. And so I appreciate you. Shout out to Cool. I know I got out.
We're all we try our best. We all get so many messages. We don't return all of them. But I would encourage, if people have questions for us, ask the question. Like, don't say, let's meet up for a coffee, because then it's like, all right, what are we going to talk about? But if you want to ask one of us three or anybody on the chat a question, DM them that question.
Facts.
You will get an answer.
Facts. And also make sure you pop out the Black Week, because if you want to ask a question in person and you want to talk to Lola, or you want to be on More Than a Title, which we're going to be the official podcast at Black Week. So we'll be there.
Oh, yay.
So Lola, you about to see us in person. So if you think this energy crazy now,
Lola, no one's in person.
I'm just saying, but I'm
we
talking
Soho
like
House. We went stupid.
No.
To another spot.
Yeah, but we talking about.
It wasn't even Soho House. That's how much you remember.
Soho House, wasn't it? With what thing with Ken? And we went to the other restaurant.
It was somewhere else. I don't remember. It was. I mean, maybe it was. I don't know.
I know we was in dinner. I know it was a good night. It was
a
great.
I'm doing the podcast during Black Week in real life.
I'm saying we're gonna get crazy in person, is what I'm saying.
Oh, no, sis, we're gonna turn up.
Do me a favor, let the people know, because there's definitely people that are new listeners that don't know where to follow you and where to get in contact with you. Please let the listeners know where they can get in contact with you. Absolutely.
Well, another one of my life hacks is that I pretty much publish only on LinkedIn, so you can find me here. It was a game changer to stop trying to do everything at once. And so I don't recommend it for everybody, but that's me. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, there's nothing you can't find out about me there. That is where I'm going to be announcing when you can pre-order the book. That is where I'm going to be announcing probably what I'm going to have for dinner tomorrow if it's really good. I'm going to be raving about how awesome this Dunkin' Donuts podcast was on LinkedIn. So yeah, this is where I hang out, and I'm super grateful for the team behind this, because as much as we have our conversations and sort of issues and challenges, what they've done is they've democratized networking in a way that is so powerful. If there's one thing I ask everybody listening to do, it is this evening, send a connect request to 10 people who you want to be in their energy. Don't even write a little note. Just try 10 people. And I guarantee you, at least 3 of them are going to say yes, if not more. Let me know how it goes.
Yeah, it is.
And also, I would just to piggyback while we end off, also affirmations, speak it to existence. And I'm going to give you a perfect example, sis. June, when Bad Boys 4 came out, we're watching out with my lady. We sitting there watching the movie. Reggie had that crazy scene or whatever. I don't want to spoil it for people who ain't seen it. And I said, you know what? I'm getting him on the podcast. And guess what? September 5th, we doing an in-person in the podcast. And we were just watching his brother. And he's from the Bronx, right up the block. Like, so I just want people to know that we do this. We didn't have a grand master plan or a scheme. We are doing this out of love of our heart. And we just putting in the work, y'all. So if that's any message.
I'm wearing my uniform. I'm telling you,
his uniform.
I'm going to get my Marine Corps dress blue. The question is, can I still fit them up?
That's what I'm saying. He's gonna be young. He'll be like,
to ask the question. And I love this because, okay, let's leave it to the younger people than us. We're still wonderfully young, of course.
Yeah.
But you'd be surprised how lonely it gets at the top and how almost easier it is to get a yes from someone like that to do your podcast than like someone who's still ascending.
It is.
The easiest people to interview for my book were the CMOs. They were like, okay, let's talk. People don't approach them like that anymore.
Nobody approaches. That's the gem, sis. Nobody approaches these people. And if they do, it may be 10 of them. And if you try to just do something to differentiate yourself and be a human being, you will more than likely get the response that you're looking for. We don't do anything.
Absolutely
different. I've sent little 30-second messages. Hey, y'all, I'm from the Bronx. Yo, you inspired me, brother. I want to be something like you, and I would love to learn from you. Just come on my show for an hour. I get a response immediately. Yo, would love to, brother.
And you know what I think you did, Jarrett, when we first met? I'm just reminded of this. You commented on one of my posts in a way that was very thoughtful. And once I read that comment, I friended you.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? It's like you showed up. So it is really about connecting. It doesn't have to be like connect. It can literally just be like connect. Wow, what you just said inspired me, and here's what it made me think.
That's it. And now we rocking and we locked in. That's what
I want to say, thank you, Lola, for being you, for being an individual. No, seriously.
Yeah,
for being a free thinker. This is what we're trying to encourage, right? Come up, have an opinion. Do your research, get your education to support your opinion, and don't be afraid to say, well, this is my opinion, right? If we have more free thinkers like you, then we would be in a better place culturally. The problem is most people are like sheep, right? The popularity contest, they listen to what the masses are wanting to do and they follow. So I just want to applaud you and say thank you for being a free thinker. And, I'm going to throw up the fist for you one time and let you know.
Black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm...
That's it. There's only
3 seconds. They ain't gonna get us on the copyright.
They don't want to get us on YouTube.
Chadeo, you said things in this conversation that a lot of people would be scared to say.
Never.
And I'm glad that they see that we can have this discourse.
Absolutely.
And I'm still gonna be thinking about it.
Yeah.
Believe me, when I get triggered, it's because I know I have more to think about.
Yeah.
Thanks, John Graham.
No, we're gonna do a round table. Can we do? We're gonna do a round table. I want to do it.
Who do you want me to vote for then? God damn it!
No, we're gonna do a round table. First of all, I can't wait till we get to New York. I don't know if John's coming to fucking New York, but we got to do something together.
We got to. In fact, you know what? We should actually just make that happen.
I want to do something. You, John Graham. I want Dr. Marcus Collins. I want Walt. I want some epic shit.
Yeah, I think that'll be dope.
That's fire.
What we got coming up this week, Cuzzo, on Thursday?
We got Mr. Fee, who's the CMO of Lucky Beverages. Lucky Beverages. He also was the VP of online, digital, and retail for Liquid Death. So if you guys know the water brand, helped build that, scale that to a multi-million-dollar brand. Now he's the CMO of Lucky Beverages. We got Coco Sharp, who's one of the leading PR associates at Golan, coming through to talk to our young sisters about how she's been able to elevate her career. September 3rd, we got Exotic Creations, which is a Black-owned food brand that's taken over, been on Breakfast Club, Hot 97. They are going crazy right now. We're going to have his brother on tell a story about his grandmother's recipe. And then September 5th, it's either September 5th or September 10th. We got Dennis McDonald, Reggie, a.k.a. from Bad Boys, coming up. But we also got James Lindsay, CEO of Rap Snacks, pulling back up next month. We also got Larry Hall, who is the global basketball and community manager of Adidas. We got Warren Zenner, former EVP at Harvest, and
I'm gonna have to start thinking about who we're gonna start getting to sponsor this podcast, because it sounds like that's where we're at right now.
That's exactly where we at.
We got a few in the works, man. Talk to us nicely, y'all.
My God, sis. I'm so excited.
Sis, let's make this happen, sis.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another phenomenal episode.
As you can hear, the Dunkin' Donuts team's ready to start calling it.
Yeah, we done. Yeah, we done. Ended it off. Ladies and gentlemen,
the music in the background.
Yeah,
it's nice to be a kid.
Damn that corporate program. Pay her, Duncan.
We like to thank everybody for tuning into the show, man. Once again, we're gonna end it off grateful and thankful for all our supporters, all the return people that support us, comment, like our stuff, all the new subscribers and stuff. We appreciate y'all. And remember, like Lola just explained to you, man, you got to do the work. The dream is free, but the hustle, that's so separately.
Yeah, I know the
bitches.
More than the title, baby.
What you know about me? I seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me? I done it all, just want it all.